This is called How to Cry. It comes in parts, like an instructional manual. How to Cry, Introduction. Although some may be interested in the most appropriate way to cry, the first obstacle that must be tackled is how to make oneself feel the need to cry in the first place. This is the most difficult of the tasks involved in crying. Once it's achieved, it does not matter how one actually goes about crying. How to Cry, Novice. When one is generally in a good mood, or if they don't have the inspiration to cry, they must find the inspiration. Otherwise, instructions on how to appropriately cry this is just fruitless. The initial task is to start in previous essays on the, as stated in previous essays on this subject, is to steer the imagination toward yourself. This generally is vague, however, and it hinders the imagination from doing just that. So one starts with the specific problems to depress oneself with, and then the generalities will follow. To start with, it's simple. Take just one aspect of your life that you find important to you. Then find the one largest thing that's wrong with it. Ponder that problem for a while. Ponder the fact that this problem may never be solved, that it may never get any better. Decide whether or not it is because of a fault within yourself. If it is, then you could use that as fuel for the fire. But if it's not, then you can cry because circumstance or even fault of someone else and what is causing that problem in your life. After you've thought about this one problem in your life, it may occur to you that there is more than one problem with aspects of your life. Only after you've exhausted contemplating about all of these problems, however, is it appropriate to move on to the next problem. You should make it clear that you have uncovered all of the saddest thoughts about the one issue before you move on to the next issue. The more material to work with for crying, the better. After you've exhausted all of the problems that exist within this one aspect of your life, move on to another aspect of your life and find out what is important to you and repeat the above process. You may come to two different conclusions when you're doing this exercise. One is that you may realize that there were problems in your life that you did not even know existed. There again is a good incentive to cry because it makes you realize how many things are wrong in your life. So it's wise to mull this point over in your mind. The other conclusion may be that you will always have these problems and that ultimately there's nothing you can do to help yourself out of this situation. The eternal helplessness is also good incentive. How to Cry, Intermediate. Yeah, there are many levels to cry, you got it. How to Cry, Intermediate. After a while of using this method, it will begin to seem repetitive, and the subject material may become too familiar. In this case, a new twist has to be taken to the old order in which the above tasks are actually accomplished. Originally, the thought process is very methodical. Take one aspect of your life, find a problem with it, exhaust its potential, find another problem, etc. Then move on to the next issue. Since, however, the subject by this time begins to have a feel that all of the issues or problems are, a different approach will have to be taken. First, think of all of the problems at once. All of them. Every last one. Family, work, the dishes, God, anything and everything, all at once. The thought of all of these at once will put you a bit frantic, and it'll put a fierce panic into your head that will almost make you want to cry. If this alone doesn't work, continue thinking of all of these problems and then start to think about how many problems there actually are and how big the problems actually seem. Consider the quantitative and qualitative value of these problems, and then you'll end up feeling like they're so much larger than they were originally, and then you'll continue contemplating this and crying will come much easier.